And each week there's a current world theme where the world itself is in this particular gene key. And this week, from November 28th through December 2nd, our current world theme is gene key 9, which in the shadow state is inertia, and in the gift state is determination, and in the city state is invincibility. So I'm going to read some of that, so you can kind of get an idea of how these keys work and sound and how they relate. So I'm going to go to the 9th gene key, and I'm going to read. So the way it's broken down is, let me get to it. I'm almost there. So it's broken down. It will describe the shadow state and what that is like. And as I read it, you may totally relate to that. And then I'll go into the gift state of determination and read what that, like the essence of that state. I'm not going to read the city because I'll already be reading a lot. So I'll just go ahead and start. So the 9th gene key, which is our current world theme, it says the power of the infinitesimal. Again, the shadow is inertia, the gift is determination, and the city is invincibility. So the night shadow of inertia, and this is also connected to the Chinese I Ching, which I honestly don't know a whole lot about. If anyone is watching this that is very familiar with these different tools, then I'd love for you to comment and share what you know. But the night shadow, it says, in its original hexagram form in the Chinese I Ching, the 9th gene key has a rather unusual and cryptic name, which is commonly translated as the taming power of the small. And if you're familiar with the I Ching, you might recall another hexagram, the 26th hexagram, whose name is the taming power of the great. Evidently, there's a strong bond within these two archetypes and their gene keys. So we can see that genetically they are part of the same chemical codon ring, and it's amino acid threonine. So with every gene key, there's an amino acid tied to it as well. As is often the case with these old Chinese names, they contain many layers of truth and possibility. In the case of the 9th shadow, the taming power of the small, it refers to the human tendency to become submerged in unnecessary and irrelevant details. Most human beings live lives where they simply get by, lives in which they become victims of all the details around them. At the higher frequencies, you tame the small by applying your energy only to that which serves your higher purpose. At the shadow frequency, however, the details tame you, sapping your life force, robbing you of your enthusiasm, and eventually pulling you into the common human state of inertia and indifference. The Chinese sage Lao Tzu uttered the famous statement, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step." Although a more accurate translation might be, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath one's feet." This piece of timeless wisdom concerns focusing on what lies right in front of you rather than concerning yourself with where the future might or might not take you. The night shadow is about where you place that focus, and primarily through your daily activity rather than your mind. There's something very magical about this 9th gene key, as we'll see. It holds one of the greatest of all secrets: how to stop your mind from undermining your natural destiny. An image representing both the 9th shadow and the 9th gift is of a pathway made of individual stepping stones. I love this point that's about to come up. At the frequency of the 9th shadow, which is the lowest frequency, the stepping stones go in a circle, so that as you look down at each step, you fail to realize that you are simply following the same old footprints and your energy is going nowhere. This is the state of consciousness of the majority of human beings on our planet. At the gift level, however, the stepping stones go off into the distance and over the horizon. You do not know where they are going, but it doesn't matter. You know they are leading you forward. This makes every step you take all important, as well as an adventure. This ninth gene key is about finding the right activity in your daily life. Every step must lead you in the direction of your dream, whatever that may be. Included within this path are the many, many small acts we take on the mundane plane: eating, washing, shopping, cooking, etc. Because if all the steps, even the mundane daily chores, lead you in the direction of your dream, it is impossible for them to be unfulfilling. If your activity leaves you cold or bored, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the wrong activity. It probably means that you have lost contact with your greater dream. You have allowed the small to tame you. Every time you allow life to leave you bored or indifferent, or you feel this lack of energy or an inertia, it is up to you and you alone to reconnect with your dream. Without a sense of higher purpose, human beings move in circles, creating energy fields that prevent abundance. Even worse, the inertia of the ninth shadow feeds off the victim mind, which also goes round and round in its patterns of either blaming or worrying. In our hearts, however, all human beings are natural rebels. We are wild creatures. We are not here on earth to have our dreams tamed, clipped, or domesticated. We are here to make magic happen, and we cannot do that unless our every waking moment is directed and focused toward a single overreaching vision or ideal. The night shadow sucks all the hope and enthusiasm out of you when you do not see immediate results and improvement in your situation. It takes you away from the focus and fulfillment of the moment and disturbs your concentration and patience. One of the modern expressions of this night shadow is our addiction to trivia. Details and trappings, extraneous and unnecessary to our lives. Unless it is either beautiful or practical, it can safely be classified as trivia. The night shadow draws your energy away from that which truly matters to you, which is beauty. The energy field around this night shadow and its programming partner, which is the 16th shadow of indifference, is a very intense cloud under which many humans are stuck. Together, these two gene keys are a huge drain on your physical body. Lack of enthusiasm leads to lack of energy and vice versa. You may even believe that you are taking steps to change when in fact all you are doing is going around in circles, still focused on details that are essentially irrelevant. The only way out of this field of inertia is to punch through it with one huge act of will. The first step out of the victim frequency resets your course onto a path that leads ahead rather than around. This night's shadow deeply affects the energy systems within the body, closing them down to higher voltages and cosmic high frequency energies. It also has an adverse jamming effect on your inner directional guidance system, your heart. If your heart is not behind your every act, not only do you choose an inappropriate course in life, but you also continually wear down your health. In summary, if your life force seems low or lacking in energy, and you are finding it hard to get enthused about your life, the answer may lie in the night shadow. You are either too focused on the future instead of giving your full attention to whatever is right in front of you, or there's no sense of overall purpose moving beneath your daily acts and activities. Without this sense of inner focus, a great deal of your energy goes into complaining, whether vocally or mentally. All this energy needs to find a higher purpose, something it can serve that takes you beyond the mundane world and all its details. Most human beings are unaware of how much energy they are sitting on inside their own bodies. There truly is nothing in life you can not accomplish if you put your heart squarely behind it. And then when we move up into the gift of this ninth gene key, the gift is determination. Every intentional act is a magical act. The ninth gift fuels all determination. The gift of determination is built upon the rock of very small acts, the very smallest of acts. The controversial English magician Aleister Crowley, I don't know if I said his name correctly, once stated a deep truth of great relevance to this gift. Every intentional act is a magical act. Even the smallest action has a spin-off effect that travels out into the universe. Actions made out of resentment or fear reinforce the shadow frequency both in the world and in the individual. Indifferent acts reinforce indifference, whereas acts done in joy or service create more joy. Wherever we look into the matrix of this ninth gene key, it keeps pointing to the same truth. That a person without an ideal burning inside them is essentially destined to remain a follower of the crowd. However, it is important to distinguish that this is not a gift of dreaming, but of sustained activity and work toward a powerful single goal. The power of the ninth gift is the power of repetition. This gift creates a groove, and once that groove is dug, all energy in your life will tend to follow the same pattern. This explains why the gift of determination is so powerful. It also explains why it is so hard to escape the inertia of the ninth shadow at its lower frequency. When you break out of the lower frequency and connect with your vision or ideal as a feeling and a knowing deep inside, you've truly begun the journey of 1,000 steps. Every single step you take from that moment on, which means all acts, no matter how inconsequential they may seem, lead in the direction of that core vision. As you continue in the direction of your heart, you begin to carve for yourself a powerful groove that becomes easier and easier to follow, and is what the world knows as determination. This changes the whole shape of your life, as finally you will begin to feel the inner strength that comes from following your life purpose. The strange thing about the gift of determination is that the more determined you become, the less energy and willpower you actually have to use. This is contrary to the common view of determination, which is generally held to be a great battle or struggle. However, the secret of determination is about momentum. All those little acts done with heart begin to build up an inner momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. The force of the entire universe begins to gather behind such a person. It is only at the beginning that you have to use great force, because those first few steps out of the shadow frequency take such enormous strength of will and courage. Thus, the nine gift reveals one of the great secrets of the gift frequency. The more you tread the path of heart, the easier it gets. Instead of being tamed by life, you forge your own direction and destiny through taming the smallest and most inconsequential acts in your life. The ninth gift has an important connection to the power of magnetism. All of life is magnetic, and this gift employs the use of magnetism through aligning itself with true north, the inner direction and rhythm sought by the universe as a whole. This is the groove we are speaking of. It is about moving down the force lines of the universal energy grid instead of moving across or against them. Determination in this sense reveals another meaning. Your true course in life is already predetermined, and thus all you have to do is find it and follow it. As was mentioned at the shadow frequency, one of the most magical aspects of this ninth gift is the effect it has on your mind. Once you have centered yourself in the groove and your course begins to feel more and more certain, your mind finally stops undermining you. The naturally flowing currents within your body begin to come into a universal harmony. And as they do so, your brainwave cycles slow down and you enter a higher consciousness field. It is one of the paradoxes of the gene keys that the higher your spiritual frequency rises, the lower your brainwave frequency falls. These radical shifts in your mental functioning further serve to streamline the course of your life. With the mind operating at deeper levels of consciousness, you begin to let go of your mental constructs, your opinions, your fears, your beliefs, and eventually your hopes. Your mind begins to submerge itself in a wider and more collective awareness. Not only does it undermine you less and less, but it also confirms that your direction is logically valid. At the height of the gift frequency, as it begins to prepare for the leap into the Siddhic consciousness, you become aware of the vast power that can move through the very smallest of things. As your vision of reality expands to contain the universe, you realize how small you really are. And at the same time, you get to see how enormous your contribution to the whole is when you truly take the plunge and listen to your heart. I thought that was so beautiful. I just had to share it. Every one of the gene keys is beautiful. And if you start to read through them, you'll find that you relate to some more than others. And throughout your life path, that may change as we're ever evolving. I have personally found that the ones that are listed in my top 4, my life's work, my evolution, my radiance, my purpose, I deeply relate to. I find that they are very accurate and very insightful. So I love tools such as this to use as a guide. And I love how this one really speaks to the collective as well, because we can begin to understand kind of the state that we're living in as a human collective and how we can little by little rise up out of the shadow and into the gift. And it doesn't take everyone to do that. It doesn't even take half of us. It takes a small percentage of us to wake up. And once we reach that critical mass and that tipping point, that's where we start to see the shift in consciousness in the collective as we move into the gift frequency, which is really powerful and encouraging. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you're familiar with the gene keys or human design or the I Ching or the Enneagram or any of those, please comment below. And yeah, share what you think. And I'll post links as well to where you can do your hologenetic profile if you choose, and where you can get the book if you choose. But I hope you found this insightful and a little bit eye-opening. And I encourage you to approach this with an open mind and see where it takes you. All right. Hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll talk later. Bye.